The Little Farmer. In a peaceful village surrounded by green hills, old stone cottages, and wide open meadows, there lived a young boy named Leo. He was only 10 years old, but everyone in the village called him the Little Farmer. Leo was not like most children. While other boys and girls enjoyed watching cartoons or playing on phones, Leo spent his time with soil-covered hands, a straw hat on his head, and boots that were always muddy. Leo lived with his grandparents, who owned a small countryside farm just outside the village center. His grandfather, Henri, was a kind old man with deep wrinkles and strong hands, and his grandmother, Elise, made the best soup with vegetables from their garden. Leo's parents worked far away in a big city, so they visited only during holidays. But Leo was never lonely. He loved the calm life on the farm, the animals, the open air, and especially the garden. Their farm wasn't large, but it had everything they needed. A few chickens that laid fresh eggs every morning, a cow named Bella who gave milk, some goats that loved to nibble on leaves, and a vegetable patch that was always full of colors: green beans, red tomatoes, bright yellow courgettes, and orange carrots. In spring, the orchard next to the barn filled with white apple blossoms, and in autumn, the fruit hung low and ripe. Leo's day always started early. The sound of the church bell in the village square rang at 6, and Leo would jump out of bed, put on his warm jumper and boots, and head outside. His first job was feeding the chickens and collecting the eggs. Afterward, he would milk Bella with Grandpa Henri and then help Grandma Elise pick herbs from the greenhouse: basil, rosemary, mint, and lavender. He loved being in the garden. He would crouch next to the plants, gently touching their leaves, pulling out weeds, and giving each one some water. Sometimes he talked to them. "Grow strong, little friend," he whispered to a tomato seedling once. "You'll be tasty in Grandma's soup." One spring morning, after helping his grandfather prune the grapevines, Leo stood quietly for a moment and said, "Grandpa, I want to grow something of my own. Just me. From start to finish." Grandpa Henri looked at him thoughtfully. "That's a big responsibility. Plants need care every day." "I can do it," Leo said, his eyes full of hope. "I want to try." Henri rubbed his beard. "All right then. There's a small patch of land just behind the barn. The soil is good, and it gets plenty of sun." Leo was overjoyed. He thanked his grandfather and ran to look at the piece of land. It was wild and full of grass, but to Leo, it was a treasure. He spent the next 2 weeks preparing the land. Every day after school and chores, he worked on it. He pulled weeds, broke the soil with a hoe, and added compost from the pile behind the chicken coop. His hands were sore, but he didn't mind. He was proud. In the evenings, he read books about farming and plants. He borrowed them from the local library and asked his teacher for help. He learned about planting seasons, the best vegetables for the soil, and how to protect crops from pests without using harmful chemicals. After much thought, Leo decided to grow potatoes. "They're humble," he told Grandma Elise, "but everyone eats them. And they grow under the ground, like hidden treasures." She smiled. "A good choice. Potatoes are patient plants." In April, Leo planted the seed potatoes. He placed each one gently into the soil and covered it with earth. Then, he watered the field and waited. Every day, he checked the rows. Tiny green shoots began to rise. He weeded the soil, watched the weather, and protected the plants from slugs and beetles using natural traps. By early summer, the plants were tall and leafy. Little white flowers appeared on some. Leo beamed with pride. But then, something unexpected happened. After several days of rain, the leaves on some plants started turning brown and curling. Leo panicked. He ran to get Grandpa Henri. Henri examined the plants carefully. Looks like blight. It happens in wet weather. It spreads fast." Leo's heart sank. "Will I lose them?" "Not if we act fast," Henri said. "Cut off the bad leaves. Leave space between the plants. Let the wind dry the soil." Leo spent hours in the field, cutting the sick leaves, collecting them in a basket, and burning them safely away from the garden. He watched the sky every evening, hoping for sun. Slowly, the plants recovered. When August came, Leo began his harvest. He pushed his hands into the soil and pulled out his first potato, a firm, golden one. He laughed with joy. "It's real!" he shouted. "It worked!" Soon, he had baskets full of potatoes. He sorted them, big ones in one pile, small ones in another, and funny shapes in a third. He gave some to his grandparents, shared many with the neighbors, and sold a few at the village market on Saturday. That Saturday morning, Leo stood proudly behind his small stall with a handwritten sign. "Leo's potatoes, grown with love." People from the village smiled and stopped to buy a bag. Some even returned for more the next week. That evening, at dinner, Grandma Elise used Leo's potatoes in a buttery dish with parsley. "These are delicious," she said. "So much better than the shop ones. They have heart in them," Grandpa Omri added. Leo blushed. He felt proud not just of the food but of the work he had done. After that, Leo's little farm patch became a regular part of his life. The next season, he planted onions and spinach. In the autumn, he tried pumpkins. Each time, he faced new challenges, bugs, drought, even a sneaky rabbit, but he didn't give up. He learned how to make natural fertilizer with eggshells and banana peels. He made a scarecrow with his cousin to keep the birds away. He even wrote a diary about his crops, what worked, what didn't, and what made him smile. At school, his teacher asked him to give a small talk about farming. Leo stood in front of the class, holding up a small basket of carrots. "Farming isn't just about food," he said. "It teaches you to wait, to care, and to respect everything around you." His classmates listened with wide eyes. Some of them had never even seen how carrots grew in the soil. After that day, several children visited Leo's garden. He taught them how to plant seeds, how to check soil moisture, and how to spot healthy leaves. The school even started a gardening club. Grandpa Omri was invited to speak, and Leo became the youngest member of the local farmers' cooperative, which supported young gardeners and small producers. One winter evening, as snow fell softly outside and the fire crackled in the fireplace, Leo sat with his grandparents and looked at the small photo album he had made. It was filled with pictures of his little field, green sprouts, flowering plants, muddy boots, and baskets full of harvest. He smiled. "I think I want to do this forever." Omri nodded. "Then you will. And the land will teach you new lessons every season." Leo's story spread slowly but surely across the neighboring towns. People started calling him not just the little farmer, but the young grower. He continued learning, reading, and asking questions. And year after year, his garden grew, not just in size, but in wisdom, kindness, and purpose. For Leo, farming was not just a chore. It was a way of living, a path of patience, and a celebration of simple joys. And every time he placed a seed in the soil, he smiled and whispered, "Grow strong, little friend. You're part of something beautiful."